The Millennium Falcon just showed up in Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Okay, it's not the actual Millennium Falcon flown by Han Solo and Chewbacca, but rather the original concept of the Millennium Falcon when Star Wars was first in development by George Lucas and the team. During the second episode of Disney Plus's new Star Wars Skeleton Crew, we see the young crew arriving at this pirate spaceport. As the Onyx Cinder flies in, we can see an iconic Easter egg behind the ship in this docking port area. You might not know this story about the Millennium Falcon and its original concept, but that is okay. Today we're going to tell you about it, as well as some extra ships that are in this scene. Let's go. Hello, I'm Captain Jack and welcome to the Hangar Bay. On this channel, we take a deep dive into the best starships, technology, and more from your favourite sci-fi universes. Remember to hit that subscribe button for the latest videos, and let us know what you think of this ship in the comments below. Skeleton Crew is out now on Disney Plus. As such, we've been analysing the episodes to look at each and every starship and piece of technology that has appeared in the series. While we're waiting for more information on the Onyx Cinder, the hero ship, let's talk about the Millennium Falcon. As mentioned before, the second episode is our heroes visiting the pirate spaceport of Borgo Prime Shadowport. While the Onyx Cinder is coming into dock and being tracked by turbolaser turrets, we can see the original concept of the Millennium Falcon in the background. If we zoom in here, you can see it sitting there like all the other ships in the port. We'll talk about the other ships shortly. It kind of looks like a Corellian gunship, but it likely is a reference to the first Millennium Falcon design, which would then end up being used as Princess Leia's Corellian corvette in the Star Wars movie. How did this design come about, and how does it connect with the Millennium Falcon? The legendary artist, Colin Cantwell, started working with George Lucas in 1974. Cantwell is regarded as the first Star Wars ship designer, as he became involved in working on Star Wars in 1975. In the original plans and designs for Star Wars, the iconic ship of Han Solo would be radically different from what we know as the Millennium Falcon now. Han's ship was only known as the pirate ship. The design was radically different, featuring a elongated form that had a bank of engines in the back and a cone-shaped cockpit at the front. A version of the ship actually appears in production painting work by Ralph McQuarrie. Notably, the ship being docked in a hangar. We've put some of these images on screen now so you can see what we mean. There's also a really good comparison still here of the actual Millennium Falcon on Tatooine Spaceport and then the other sort of concept in Mos Eisley Spaceport which we're so familiar with. Now while the original design was cool, it actually bore some resemblance to the Eagle transporters in Space 1999. It's a British science fiction television programme that ran for 2 series from 1975 to 1977. On the left hand side of the screen you can see the original concept of the Falcon, which would become the CR-90 Corvette class, and on the right you can see the Eagle transporter from Space 1999. They are very similar and we can see where the confusion might come from. Now this prompted George Lucas to change the Millennium Falcon's design. As such, the original model of the Falcon was modified, rescaled, and used the Tantive 4 in the film. Model maker Joe Johnston was given around 4 weeks to redesign the Millennium Falcon, and George Lucas gave Johnston one suggestion: to think of a flying saucer. Overall, this is a really cool reference for Star Wars Skeleton Crew. If it is in fact the original concept of the Millennium Falcon, which it looks to be due to the size of this ship, then that's a nice callback to some classic Star Wars. What do you think? Now, the scene in question from Skeleton Crew also features other known starship designs. Thanks to many online discussions, we've identified some. However, my good friend and fellow YouTube creator, Eckhart's Ladder, also identified some in his video. For example, this one here looks to be the front of a Pelta-class frigate. If we back up the footage to when the Cinder comes out of light speed, we can see the rear end, which confirms it is a Pelta-class, more like the command variant. These frigates were seen as medical ships in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. In Star Wars Rebels, Phoenix Squadron's commander Jun Sato used a modified one as his command ship, before Darth Vader blew it up. A lot of these ship models likely come from Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. To create the massive Citizens fleet at the end of the film, the creatives produced a lot of new renders and models of iconic Star Wars ships. As such, this gave Lucasfilm and Disney a lot of models to play with for new series like Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, and The Mandalorian. There are 2 other freighter vessels spotted in the back. These are classed as Coruscant freighters, and they do appear in the Clone Wars, most notably in Season 6, Episode 10, where Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Count Dooku all have a fight on one. At one point, we can see the aft section of a Brahad-class gunship. These are seen actually in Return of the Jedi somewhat, and also in Rogue One. Additionally, we can see a Gazanti-class armed transport. I can't remember where we've seen this before, but it definitely is in the shot and Wikipedia backs this up. We also see the Avendor, which is a transport used by the Guvian Death Gang in Star Wars Resistance. There are several other unidentified ships around here, which you can safely presume are pirate ships or pirate freighters, or even maybe captured ships. There are also freighters docked here as well. One appears to be a New Republic era bulk freighter. I'm not quite sure if any of these freighters are the same one from episode 1, but it probably would be a likely bet unless the pirates scuttled it. There also appears to be the light freighter, which is the ZH-40 Tribune class, though I can't quite make out which one it is, but again, the wiki does reference it. Now, according to Wikipedia, which is the Star Wars wiki, there's also a Lancer-class pursuit craft. This has been seen in the animated series of Star Wars Rebels, where one of our sort of like standing characters used it for an episode. Other than that, we've seen it in various bits of Star Wars media before. I can't quite pick out where it is in the episode, maybe in the editing I'll actually find it, but on about 50 watches I can't actually see it so far, but according to Wikipedia, it's here. So, can you actually spot any ships that we can't spot? This is a very busy scene using a lot of very good models for starships and a lot going on. Also, the fact it's dimly lit and sort of this dark area space does make it hard to identify what ship is what, especially when you have that giant pirate ship docked there, which is kind of blocking the views of a lot of things. It's rather cool to see the original Millennium Falcon concept here in Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Did you spot any ships we missed from the starport scene? Don't worry, we are working on a video for the Onyx Cinder, the lead ship of the series, but it is important that we wait to see the rest of the series first. If you're looking forward to that video, hit that subscribe button, and while you're here at the end of the video, take a look at our playlist on screen to continue the Star Wars adventures. That's the end of this video. I've been Captain Jack in the Hangar Bay. Remember, if you're talking about science fiction, we want to hear about it.